And a good morning to you. Quick inside the bottom line. Beautiful Friday today. Probably the heat's going to come back. Yesterday was nice. We had a sprinkling of rain, but the biggest thing it did, kept us overcast and kept the heat down. It was nice not to get up in the bazillion degrees like we have been going. Going to be hot for the 4th, I'm pretty sure. I'll take a look at the weather here in just a few minutes. But glad to have you with us this morning. I saw an article I was going to mention here this morning. It is, I think it came off The Athletic. Got to put the old man glasses on. I'm going to the eye doctor in a couple weeks, see if they can help me get something that's easier for me to use besides glasses. I can't wear contacts, so I don't know what it'll be. A couple of things. This was something, I'm not sure where I'm looking. Can't remember exactly where I got this from. If you were picking the top 25 college stadiums to play in, what do you think the number one hardest place to play is?
Texas A&M. Is that right?
Yep. Texas A&M. Number 2?
Ohio State.
Bama.
Yeah. Okay.
Ohio State's number 4. And then for number 3?
Michigan. Big House is anywhere in that.
LSU's number 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Michigan is 16.
Okay.
But your top 5, A&M, Alabama, LSU, Ohio State, Georgia's number 5.
Yep.
Then Penn State, Wisconsin. Camp Randall I've always heard is a rough place to go to.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, Florida State, Florida, down in the swamp. Oregon, Clemson's number 12. Tennessee, 13. Auburn, 14. South Carolina, 15. Then Michigan. Virginia Tech, Lane Stadium at number 17. That's a pretty rough place to play, too.
So Keenan Stadium in Chapel Hill's not tough?
No, I think they've got it for the best place to get wine and cheese, but I'm not sure. Number 18 is Utah. 19 is Texas. Iowa at 20. Notre Dame, 21. Michigan State, 22. Arkansas, 23. Boise State, Blue Turf, is number 24. And Mississippi State is number 25, rounding out the top 25.
I could see Mississippi State being tough. And then Ole Miss. Excuse me, I'm surprised Ole Miss is not on there. I'm surprised with that.
Flip it around just a little bit.
Yeah.
Flip your mic around just a little bit.
I mean, that's, to me, that's, that'd be a tough place too, you'd think.
Yep. I saw this yesterday as well, came around, and a jury ruled that the NFL's got to pay more than $4.7 billion in damages after the league violated antitrust laws in distributing out-of-market Sunday afternoon games on premium subscription services. Now, I got to make sure that I understand this correctly. The jury awarded $4.7 to the residential class and $96 million to the commercial class. Since damages can be tripled under federal antitrust laws, it could wind up being close to $15 billion.
That's correct.
Now, what was this whole thing over? It says
DirecTV. Their contract expired with them, but then they put it on YouTube, which was subscription, just like DirecTV is. But it's not there's a lot of dynamics that go into these things, right? There's laws set up, and it's about public access. And not everyone has the ability to have a subscription due to lack of maybe internet in the home or whatever, but you can still get DirecTV because of satellite signal. Now, there's a lot more intricacies than that go into it, but the whole premise is to try to levelize the playing field and then create deals off of that do not impact the general public as much as enhance the pocketbook. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't offer certain things, but when you enter into agreements like they've had for so many years, it's very hard to get out of those or restructure those because of the way laws are set in place.
All right. This said that 2.4 million residents paid, 48,000 businesses paid for the package of out-of-market games from 2011 through 2022 on DirecTV. The lawsuit claims the league broke antitrust laws by selling its package of Sunday games at an inflated price.
Yeah.
The subscribers also say the league restricted competition by offering Sunday ticket only on a satellite provider.
That's right. which was DirecTV at the time.
But so the whole lawsuit was because there was only one offering, like a monopoly, instead of saying, okay, NFL, you're going to have to make deals with anybody that wants to make a deal with you so that we have an equal playing field.
Right. So that's part of what happened. But the thing is, when you don't offer things spread out and you inflate your prices, the first place they look at is, okay, are people paying too much? I know that, when I had DirecTV and had Sunday Ticket, that the subscription rate
was $350.
Well,
for a long time.
It was awful.
Yeah.
But I understood that buying it. I could get on tablet. I could stream it, wherever I was. Family reunion didn't matter. I could still watch the games. I think the big issue with this was the fact that they would let new subscribers to DirecTV come in and get it free or for $99 or whatever it was.
Because they took a longer term subscription on the service itself for DirecTV.
And so it's kind of like, it's kind of like the cell phone companies all used to say, switch over to us and we'll give this to you free. But if you're an existing customer, you're like, wait a minute. I'm sitting here paying this amount. They're getting a free phone and not paying but $25. I'm just giving an example. $25 a month. It kind of got into that. Okay.
Well, that's kind of been in what we do at the radio station or at the newspaper. It's hard to offer a first-time special deal to somebody because you don't want to hurt your existing customer base. Because, like you said, they're going to say, well, wait a minute, why didn't I get that? I've been paying you all along. Why didn't I get that?
My loyalty is not being rewarded.
So when I ask you that you don't have a problem with sports being on premium channels you have to pay for.
I don't know if partly I think if it's regular aired time that can be watched over what we call free television.
Yes.
That's different than a Sunday night or a Thursday night special game that you may have to pay for to watch, right? You're still paying for ESPN on Thursday nights. I'm just giving an example. If it's if it's a ball game, there's monetizing and monopolizing going on, and the problem is they got it in reverse. Because now with the way that expenses are and people having to choose between food and power and taxes and
entertainment options.
So now those are going to start subsiding. To all of this, I saw where Bank of America is doing an $800 million renovation that Charlotte City Council approved. I have no problem with a public-private partnership at any time. But we need to make sure that the pocketbook is pretty deep instead of continuing to raise revenues to support certain projects. We've got to improve the downtown area. Now,
they've already got taxes in place that's where that money will come by.
Well, sure, but this is the problem with government. This is what I have to watch as a council member at Maiden. There's always other expenses that come up that, we're doing this for this, but now we got to raise for this because this – you taxing people to death, for the benefit. I mean, think about this. The air we breathe, provided by God, we don't have to pay for that. But we got to pay to get water in and to get the waste out, right?
Right.
This whole thing, there's got to be a balance between, the services provided and services received and then services being paid for. With all the issues that we have with inflation and you should never stop investment. I don't disagree with that because inflation will come down over time. It's already starting to. We just don't feel it in certain areas, right? The problem with that is, Lanny, it's always going, well, this is for the greater good. This is for the, people are hurting. And when you're going and doing renovations, well, we've already got that money in place. Well, maybe you should take the money in place and give the taxpayers a little bit of a, breather here because things are incredibly elevated due to various reasons. and be able to do that. Be smart about, increases, rate increases, all of these. There's a lot going on that is going to affect the fall more than people know.
Mm-hmm.
Things are slowing down.
Yeah.
The consumer is draining quickly. They haven't changed their habits because they can pull out plastic.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, when the plastic gets too high, stuff starts getting sold or refinanced, and now rates are higher and you're paying more. Well, I'm just trying to level out and make it. You get into, survival mode instead of just enjoying life and maintenance mode, swiping that card, and I'm spending all this money and I'm doing this. And, we had a lot of easy money for a long time, and now, there's a yin and yang. That's my thing, saying that.
Yep.
There is.
Yeah.
And we're going to see it in sports.
Brian and Junior, good morning. But from a perspective standpoint, I don't have an issue with paying for sports that I would not have access to.
Sure.
That's where
100%.
I'm okay with paying for anything because I don't live in Minnesota or I don't live in Pittsburgh and I can't get that game.
But if you want to watch that, you can't. Like, to your point, you can subscribe.
That's correct.
And do that. That's, to me, that's different than the holistic approach in the way things are set up.
But, I guess the part that I didn't like was there was only one source. If I wanted to get the complete league package, I had to put a dish in because they were the only ones that offered it. There should be all of the. To me, it looks like from the NFL standpoint, they would be better to say, okay, anybody that wants the Sunday ticket, it's going to cost you $500 million to get in, and then however you want to sell it, you sell it. But I'm going to sell this to anybody that wants it. I'll sell it to 10 because that's where supply and demand takes care of itself.
It does, and that's a really good point because obviously then there's research done on that, and then whether or not the market will pay for that. What I liked about Sunday Ticket was being a Steelers fan. All right, there are a lot of games on CBS and a lot of games on Fox and all that, NBC at night, whatever, and we could catch those games locally. Whatever they might be. We have Spectrum up in the mountains, and we not only have Charlotte, but we've got Bristol and all that.
Spectrum TV.
Spectrum TV.
Not just streaming.
Not just streaming,
Okay.
Spectrum TV. All right. We can stream it here at the house because we have it up there, right? So through Apple. The point of this is I didn't buy the YouTube subscription last year because they're a different market in Bristol. So I would actually be able to watch and go back and forth between two CBS games that were different games. So that gave me flexibility there. Same thing with Fox. Same thing with NBC, or not Fox, but NBC.
Used to be that way with Charlotte and Greenville Spartanburg.
Yes,
you got the Falcons in Greenville Spartanburg instead of the Redskins back in the day.
Yeah, so being that whatever, if it was channel. Was that
Channel 3, CBS.
CBS,
CBS,
7 in Spartanburg, maybe? Does that sound right?
That's
I'm going
correct.
way back.
Yep.
When I was a kid, we didn't have cable vision. We lived.
We didn't either. We had 3 channels.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But we didn't get Charlotte because Flat Gap Mountain, where we lived in Valdez, the mountain was here and Charlotte's back here. Asheville's that way. So if we turned on the Charlotte station, we saw 8 people on the screen side by side, the same person, because reception was so bad. All right. But we had Asheville, Bristol, and we had CBS, NBC, ABC, all of that out of Bristol, Kingsport, Johnson City, and then maybe Channel 18 out of Charlotte. And then we picked up a PBS out of Linville.
I'm surprised you didn't get some of the
but we couldn't get
Winston-Salem.
9 or 3. We got Channel 12 a couple times late at night. If I stood up there for my dad after putting 65 feet of aluminum foil on the thing, and then I would hold it and then grab the fireplace, the wood stove, then we could get 12.
Because like when I lived in Boone,
you do this for like 30 minutes.
When I lived in Boone,
really tired.
The Greensboro stuff came in a lot better than the Charlotte stuff. Off air.
Oh, sure.
Because that's what when I've got a package, whether it was when I was doing Spectrum TV, now I got YouTube, streaming type stuff. I buy probably they're not expensive, every regional sports channel because the access that it gives you to colleges and certain leagues that you don't get here.
Right.
So that you can watch a multitude of things. I've just never had a problem spending the money to pay for sports or other things
that you enjoy.
That I enjoy.
Yeah, I get that.
But the problem came from, like you said, they only had one vendor, and then that vendor wasn't handling every customer exactly the same. And that's when FTC gets involved.
And that's right.
So, yeah. Good morning, Brian Jr. Glad to have you guys along with us. But I didn't really understand the lawsuit exactly because I know now that it's run out. I know some places have been able to get red zone, just the red zone.
Yeah, like
Kiever on Sunday, that's all he watches.
Right, because he can watch like 6 to 8 games at a time, and I get that. You know, the red zone is pretty cool because it shows you
when plays happen,
pretty in-depth action, right? And that's the fun part. And I get that. Red zone is available with a lot of the like Spectrum, DirecTV. They still have red zone. Right, and you see a lot of places like if you want to go watch a game somewhere on Sunday, they'll have all the games up. They also have red zone on, so you can just kind of watch them. They'll get this worked out. Doing things in good faith and following the letter of the law, the way the law is currently written, all right, is most important. And they'll get there's a lot more. I have not looked in this lawsuit. I gave you. I gave you very broad.
That's it. I didn't even know what was going on. To be honest with you,
and I say analysis on just not even it wasn't even that. It was just hitting points there to kind of just when you read on it, you kind of have an understanding of where it's going and why. Okay, there's just a lot of. Businesses are out there trying to make money. I feel like 99.9% of the time they're trying to do the right thing for right reasons. But then when you start getting into the billions, sometimes, let's let our attorneys look at this and see if we can find a loophole.
Well, the NFL, if they have to pay, it's going to cost them $450 million per team.
They don't care.
Now, the other thing that I've never understood, and this is an NFL thing, and maybe it doesn't make a difference when the NFL starts selling advertising.
Yeah.
When you have a home team in your market, Panthers, if the Panthers are at home, that's the only game you can get on free TV.
Oh, yeah, they black it out, yeah. And I get that.
See, I don't like that.
Well, but I get it because you're trying to support the local economy. There's a lot of
But does the NFL not revenue share? I mean, because you're talking about eyeballs and advertising.
Yes, but I'm talking about local people that go there and work.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
But I don't think it hurts. I don't think it hurts the in person. Because it's just like when I used to have high schools that would complain, didn't want video games, didn't want radio games because people wouldn't come to the game. It was very simple. If it's not pouring down rain and somebody wants to be at the game, they'll be there. If it's not 25 degrees and people want to be at the game, they'll be there.
Well, that's very true. I just know this. There are people, and this is just natural, and this the way we are. We have to make choices. And if I'm just giving an example, if the Cowboys and Eagles are on at 1, and the Panthers are playing at 1, there's a lot of Cowboys and Eagle fans right there.
Yeah.
So what happens is if they don't black that out and force the hand of 10,000 people out of 2 million to try to attend the game, 10,000 people that wouldn't otherwise have that are at home watching that. I'm just giving numbers, just examples. Then there's less need for jobs.
But is that not antitrust again?
No.
Because I can circumvent that by paying. You're forcing me to pay.
That keeps it from being antitrust. Because it's an out-of-market game.
Yeah.
And so all this revolves on direct-to-consumer and being able to provide for people and for people to have choices without impacting the local economy. When we start going national with things, all right, and start talking about this, that, or the other, the impact of Charlotte not having full attendance is much, much greater than the impact, of like Tampa not having full attendance, or Miami not having, because of the dynamics of the economies. Things are different. And you have to be, I say you, I'm using third person, you have to be aware of that because effects are rippling. People talk about trickle-down economics or trickle-up economics. Yeah, everything flows downhill. It doesn't flow uphill.
Yep.
Okay? So we have to be very careful in how we design the schedules, the times, and the events that are going on with local economies. For example, let's just give a local economy example. Wednesday night, we'll be playing our first playoff game in Cherryville for the American Legion second round. By the first round, we cannot play at home, even though we're the higher seed on that Wednesday night, because they have a fireworks display in Cherryville. The football stadium has a lot going on. And Coach Reynolds told them, we will not play. We will go away the first game if we need to. Even though we're the higher seed, we will not be playing at home on the third because of the local.
Not enough there's not enough resources to handle it anyway.
Right. So, well, what we didn't want is to have a stadium with an announcer going on, activities going on down in the football stadium, the fireworks going off in the background. Right about the fifth or sixth inning of the baseball game, because that's when they're doing their fireworks shows on that Wednesday night.
No, I get it.
Yeah, so there's a lot, you look at it locally, but you have to, when you are broad-based like we are U.S.-based, different economies, all that stuff, it just has to be looked at. That's why everything is micro fit down in the schedule, and there's a lot more that goes into it, I think. And I didn't realize it till I'd paid attention to it several years ago from an economic standpoint.
Right. Let me take a break. Back in a moment.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with departments staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange.
And we're back. I'll cut it off there so it won't feedback in our ear. I'm going to bring this up, and I know you're going to go off, and I'm trying to keep your blood pressure down today. It becomes really hard to do that sometimes.
Yeah, it does. The older I get.
I don't think anybody was surprised by this. Of course, if you don't
debate last
know,
night?
Robbie
You talking about the debate, or are you talking about basketball?
I'm talking about basketball.
Okay, that's all. Dillingham?
Robbie Dillingham
Oh,
went
yeah.
number 8, a local product in the Hickory-Catawba County area,
Yep.
number 8 in the draft. The Charlotte Hornets had number 6 pick, and they actually got a helping piece.
Yeah.
And I think the reason they got a helping piece is because Michael's not involved anymore. I think that was one of the things that held them back. Have you seen I tell people all the time, I TikTok a lot because I've got a very short attention span. And when things can get resolved in 2 or 3 minutes, I can go on to the next thing, and I'm great. Great. I need another piece of information. But there's 2 snippets of 2 different things that I have seen about sports. One of them was there's a documentary, or it may have been the thing with the movie that was Michael Jordan's life. That was more of a documentary, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
this
Last
one,
Dance,
one had who's been Affleck's right hand man that's always in the movies with him together. I cannot think of his name.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Okay, Matt Damon played the representative from Nike. When
That was a great movie.
was that the
man.
one, same movie, the documentary?
Yeah, the one about basically Air Jordan.
Yeah.
How everything's got started, what he had to go
He
through.
was stunned when they called him and said, "We're going to take the offer, $250
Yeah, they
million,
couldn't believe it.
$250,000."
Yeah, they couldn't believe it.
Then his mother said, "There's one small thing that I'm sure that you just overlooked and didn't put in there," and she said, "We get a percentage
Right.
of every shoe that goes."
Yeah.
They had never done that before.
Right.
This was a first.
Right. It's a royalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he tried to explain to them, but they held their ground. And the Jordan brand that's manufactured by Nike, okay, is its own brand inside. Mm-hmm. And no other basketball player has been able to create that. They get their name on shoes, and they get a licensing deal, but not like Mike did.
Do you know why that there's no like debate? And even though I bring it up and post stuff and I do all the time, all right, about LeBron and Jordan, who's the greatest. Mm-hmm. There's no debate on that because the impact that person has. When you go into a room, like a room full of people, and I mean where you got like 500 people in there, you can say, raise your hand if you own a pair of Air Jordans or you got a pair on, or stand up, and they'll stand up. Then you say, raise your hand if you own a pair of LeBrons or got a pair on. And, it's like crickets. That is the impact that he has and has on the apparel world, with to this day,
other than
with all the deals, everything to this day,
other than a statistical anomaly, which LeBron's going to have that, he won't come close to having the same impact on people as Michael did. Because here's the deal. Michael's 20 years out from retirement? At least 30? 20, 30 years from now, nobody's going to be talking about LeBron. And he's not going to have the same impact that Michael did because Michael changed the way you did things and not just inside basketball.
This is why when you look at like Hall of Fames and you look at all these things, longevity, there's a difference between longevity and racking up numbers than there is successes. And, it's very, it makes a lot of sense to look at something and say, personally, I feel Barry Sanders, after watching all the running backs I've watched throughout my lifetime, I never saw Jim Brown live, too young. Okay, but when I look at all the modern running backs, Sweetness was great.
Nobody comes close to Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders' greatest running backs ever. I mean, that's arguable, and people could call in or
I'm completely in agreement on that.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
absolutely.
But people could have arguable points.
Sure.
But he didn't have the longest career to rack up yards. But he's the greatest running back that, it's fair to say it's ever lived. With the things that he could do, with the things that he didn't have that made him even greater. There's the whole thing with the draft and Bronny James being drafted.
That was
second,
next.
Which was on the list, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I look at that, I see nothing but this is what I wanted. And I'm talking about as far as LeBron goes. I just want it for branding reasons only. I want it so I can play with my son. Let me tell you something. I completely understand as a father. But you're asking people to invest into, your franchise, to invest into the Laker brand. That is really, really tough to do when they're putting the needs of the individuals instead of in front of the needs at the very front for the organization. I don't see I just don't see this, Lanny. This is very good for him and his son, bad for basketball.
I agree. No, I agree, because here's the thing.
I'm not trashing his son. His son is a great athlete.
And he may become something. But, his younger kid is closer to LeBron than this one is. He's got one that's a sophomore in high school, bigger kid. But the part that bothers me is if he had not been the son of LeBron, he didn't even start at Southern Cal.
Yeah. He
was a rotational player.
Right. There's so much that goes into this, and I get the branding part. But what's happened is we've put style before substance. And, of course, we've been talking about that, or I have been, for a long, long time, because that is the trending part. It's like somebody telling me, well, I agree with this and I disagree with that, or I think this is okay or I think that's okay, when it's in my sandbox and these are the things that I have done. Whether it be in the baseball, football world, or what I do for I don't mind if I'm going to get my tires done or my oil changed, and someone says I believe that I go to, but just because I read something, and have outside experience in it, does not mean right that I should have any business. Not questioning things, but acting like I know what the hell's going on.
Well,
this is the problem with the NBA, with Major League Baseball, and with football. All right, there's nothing wrong with asking questions and doing this. But when you are asking people to invest their money into your franchise, like the Panthers, you've got to be on the up and up.
Yeah. Well, when you talk about the NBA is struggling with support because the average fan, the casual fan, and that's where, go back to NASCAR, that's where NASCAR fell off the chains, is not only did they lose the casual fan, they lost some of the hardcores. The NBA's kind of the same way because of things like this that's going on. They don't like it. Here's another movie that I've seen parts of it, and it's called The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. And this guy right here, Adrian Brody, plays Pat Riley. And to watch him when Magic, A.C. Cooper, Kareem, Rambus, when they were on the team, and they say there's things that it's disputable by some of the factual things, but when that was happening, those were great players, but Riley had no trouble reaming somebody out. Kind of like Pop at the Spurs.
But this is the thing. When you have somebody you play for that doesn't care how much you get paid, they care about your growth and development as a player and that you're giving everything
and the
you
team
got and living up to your obligation, then all the BS is cut out and it allows you to grow because you get rid of the – okay?
Yes.
What we are looking at today is the players, especially in college sports, are running everything.
Yep.
This is not the order of which society can function on, and that's why you see chaos right now, especially in college sports. They have allowed the rules where it's like Neverland with Peter Pan. Where nobody grows up, you just do whatever you want to do, and everything's okay, and that's not the case. I am going on record and predicting that if college sports do not get a rein in on what's going on, you're going to see a major tumble in not only attendance, because people go for the experience, but they also love to watch their team play. But it gets kind of like nonchalant and non-in-depth. When you're not developing talent, you're going out and paying for it. Now, when you do that in pro sports, there's still a level of development that goes on, or they wouldn't have developmental coaches in the NFL, Major League Baseball through minor leagues, and then the G League through the NBA. There is major issues with people, all right, not living up to their obligations. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't blame – I see you wrote down ECU. I do not blame Cliff Godwin one bit for what he said. I wanted him to go more on it and start ripping it because it's the truth.
Yeah. I was going to ask you if you had seen that, and
I've watched 100 times.
he in the interview he made the comment that if he had known that the pitchers that he started with were leaving as soon as he said, I would have played other players.
He would have thrown a position.
Why? I don't understand why. If you're going to go in the portal, I don't know why you don't have to make that known so that the college, the team, can make arrangements.
It's a great question. It's the wild friggin' West right now.
But what I'm saying, that's one of the things that needs to be
implemented. Be adults.
But it needs to be implemented. I'll get it out.
Adults don't want to be adults.
Yeah.
We have too many hands in the cookie jar.
Yep.
Why would I be a local business owner and want to give the university X amount of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars? Not me. I'm just using third person. Why would I want to do that so they can go out and recruit this kid for a 1-year thing when he or she can get up and just leave?
Right.
Oh, because college sports let me tell you something. It's only as good as the people that watch it, because the commercials and advertising, when they stop doing that, this crap goes away. You cannot have things in reverse order. That's why we've had chaos in society, because right up until 3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago, the grandparents who have always been here and the parents here and the kids here, where the kids aspire to be like the parents and grandparents, it got flipped when iPhones came out. Now you got grandparents trying to act like the kids. Now things after, I say a generation, slowly after the iPhones come out for 10 or 15 years, things are now starting to get back in balance. But everybody's trying to be a kid and act like, new technology, I got this and got that. When you have to have an order of things. It's the first time ever in history that the grandparents and parents aspired to be like the kids.
Yeah.
That is reverse order. It cannot happen without chaos ensuing, because the life experience is up on this end and this end with the grandparents and parents. And perception is your reality, but it's not the reality.
Right.
A lot of times it is currently, but it doesn't make it the right thing to do. That's why all this is skewed, and it's finally starting to work itself back out now that everybody's got access to it.
But you don't have to be able to win championships. You don't have to do all of the things that everybody's doing, but you've got to establish yourself as a program that's not what we're going to do. And the example is UConn. He only picks up a player if he has a problem because he didn't recruit the right one. He puts in a missing piece. He doesn't build the roster. Those kids that played for UConn had been there. They were mature. That's the teams that you see do well in March Madness are teams usually that are not full of one and dones. They've got continuity. They've got kids that know they got chemistry because they played together.
Yeah.
And UConn is an example of how you do that.
Well, that's a great point, and that's the whole point. But the issue is everybody else is the Wild Wild West trying to pick up this.
Well, they got to figure out that doesn't always equate to wins and championships.
Well, Lanny, I completely agree. The problem is it's like, well, so and so's doing it. I got to go do it. Now, when in the world has playing fallen to? Have you ever heard the story of the Pied Piper?
Yeah,
Okay?
but I still don't think it's not going to survive long term.
That is my whole point.
Yeah.
Like, I am disinterested now.
Yeah,
Almost fully into watching portal jumping players.
yeah.
If the environment is bad,
I've never even looked.
If the environment is bad, and or you as a player are not getting an opportunity to show your skill set and get an opportunity to earn that playing time, then yes, you have to leave. You have to. Because you can't have success if there's no opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. You can't. Because you can't will it to happen when nobody's paying attention to you or giving you that chance. The problem is we're paying more attention to those that are doing inappropriate and deviant things for the long-term good that we know won't last, that it's the wow factor. And again, we've said this, you've said this, I've said it. I have no problem with times changing. But if you think about it, time really doesn't change because time always is what it is. It's the opportunities within the time that change and the direction of the focus. And the problem is this thing is meant to get endorphins running, right? Everything that hits on this is for excitement. I got to watch this. I need it in this many spurts and this many. There's no time to think. Everything is being thought for, not you, third person, for us. And therefore, that leads to very bad decision-making because it's impulsive. Okay? We have to get this right from a sports world where the college athletes have opportunities. This is the part that bothers me most. These college players are getting paid, which that's the rules, and that's fine. But what about the people that are paying to go to school there? All that money goes into a general pot. So not only are we paying players to go play there, but we also pay for their education. Who do you think pays that? There's two people, working Americans and the federal government. And the federal government doesn't have any money. Let's be very clear. That's taxpayer money. And people say, well, federal government can print all the money. They can, but it has to be backed by the taxpayer. So when it says backed by the good faith and credit of the United States government, no, it's backed by the taxpayers of the United States government,
right?
Okay, which are its citizens. That's the problem I have. We're forgiving things 3 times. When people are being forgiven loans for college, all right, that's money that taxpayers paid into the system through taxation that went to that university to pay a professor or a staff member there or pay for a building. But then that money's forgiven, right, because it was in the name of the kid going to school there. So who wins in that situation?
But here's the thing.
Only the people at the university. There's nobody else that wins in that.
Everything fixes itself because that can't go on forever.
But, okay.
It's like giveaways.
I don't disagree
It's like government
with that.
giveaways. That can't go on forever because they run out of them.
Right. It's unfunded mandates.
Yeah.
And unfunded, and you say unfunded, it's not unfunded. People pay. No.
That's why you got small colleges shutting down.
Yes. And, it goes back to the whole premise of you can go to Lowe's and the parking lot be full. during a massive pandemic, but we can't go to our local hardware store. We can't attend church.
Yeah.
Let's say can't attend if you abide by,
Right.
I'm just trying to be compliant and live in the world. It's the whole thinking thing. People say, oh, my God, we got this going. We lose our minds over everything, and it's because of this. There's no thinking going on. And at some point, you got to cut through the style of things and look at the substance of something. All right? I'm not going to get into the election thing. I got a couple of thoughts on it, but I'm not going to go there because it's a sports show. But it has everything to do with trying to involve this and this sport, this and that sport, when sports need to be separate. They don't need to be involved in all these, well, I feel this way or I feel that. How's that worked out for a lot of players going to the Olympics that people just completely shut off because they talk trash about where we live? I don't want to hear that. Okay? I'm sure there's people that are all about that, and that's fine. That's their business. But I don't want to hear that.
Right.
Okay? I know what our issues are locally. If I want to make, if I want to have an impact on the supposedly all these terrible issues we have nationally, then I'll run for office in a national standpoint. But all I can do is try to be involved on a local standpoint and help address the matters most important to the people and try to do the right things at the right time.
Right.
This is not being done in college sports.
Yeah.
We are misleading people for the benefit of just a few.
But here's what's going to happen. There are more people that are influential with their money that are starting to come around and say, wait a minute. You're not maximizing what I give you.
No,
you told me this would be great if we bought these players, but it's not.
No, because
they're going to change it. Yeah,
it's going to the highest bidder, and people say, well, "Why is that wrong?" They do that. And listen, it's not wrong when you have a skill set, all right, that you have worked in and developed. It could be athletics or it could be in the job world. That makes you unique and special. I'm sorry. But I only see 2 players right now on the radar that are in that skill set, and they both play on the same team.
Yep.
Ewers and Manning.
Yep.
And Ewers is he's the first pick. He has to be.
Right. Let me give you a comment from Travis, and then one other thing that for me is a feel good because the way it turned out. Travis said, it starts at the lowest level. If a kid's not playing or not at the position the parent wants, they just go find another travel team. It's all about and a lot of adults promote that mentality. That is correct. Let me tell you something I saw, a video that I saw.
Good point.
This was I'm assuming like a club wrestling because these were younger kids. They weren't even in middle school. This was a club wrestling event. And, you have people that are video it because their kids wrestling and that kind of thing. Here were 2 kids. And I refereed high school wrestling when I was in college. So there are certain rules that you can't do, especially with unsafe positions. If you're an official, and sometimes bodies can kind of get tangled up that make things go in the way they shouldn't go, and you have to stop that.
Yeah.
Okay? So what was happening in this particular match, one kid, when they switched positions, got the other kid's lower leg, and he was cranking it. And the referee stopped it because it was unsafe. Did this, which is an unsafe movement, and as soon as he did, the parent came out of the stands and shoved him because it was his kid that was doing the cranking. Okay? This official, and this was in North Carolina, fell into the other kid. Nobody got hurt. They were able to restrain this guy. Mama came out of the stands too. They were both escorted from the premises. So was the kid. And the referee said the bad part about it was the kid probably would have won, if not at least placed, because he was really good. But that was something that had been called on anybody. That's where we're at now with people. And I can't understand it. I can't get past it because as much as I love sports, it's still just a game. We're not stopping the world or setting it in you. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
And if you don't know the rules, you as a parent, don't get involved.
Right. And people only know what they know, right? And this is where things like that come up. But I will tell you that there are certain things in life that we have to pick our passions about. and that we have to be internally motivated
Mm-hmm.
to achieve things.
Mm-hmm.
Sports is a great indicator of that in other areas of business and life.
Mm-hmm.
So if you sit there in the stands and you're cheering, go, gosh, I hope everybody wins. Nobody should lose. They've played so well. That's not a mentality that's very good for the business world. Okay, that we have to teach. I say aggressiveness. I don't mean at harming other people. I'm talking about going out,
playing inside the rules and the lines,
and giving it everything you've got.
Yep, I agree.
The issue is there's so the accountability of the things that are put forth are so bad and so deterred into committees, and the committee said this and the committee did this, instead of accountability going to the top with one person and filtering down. Okay, there's a problem. Chaos ensues when expectation has not been set. When you set expectation, people can be upset, but they can't really get mad about it.
Right, because you knew what the expectation when we started.
Gosh, I don't like it, I disagree with it, but you told me, and so okay. It's like when, I'll go into presidential stuff, it's like when President Obama ran on his platform. We're going to fundamentally transform the United States of America. Well, there were things that he wanted to do, okay, that had not been done or really worked on. And when he started implementing those changes, people that voted for him started getting really upset. Well, I can't believe. I said, no. He told you what he was going to do. You're listening to things like flashes and slogans and, hope and all that, and I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm just giving you an example. When expectation has been set, not met, but set, there's nothing, and you agree to keep, to go ahead and go through.
Don't be surprised when it starts to get implemented.
Yeah, I mean, be like, I can't believe this. Well, what can you not believe?
Yeah.
I see so many things in sports, and I have no problem with people cheering for the kids or getting pissed or upset at an umpire, or even, like the other night, I told the umpire at the game, I said, I thought you did a pretty good job tonight. We got beat. We didn't hit well, and we just had one of those nights. I told the guy behind the plate, I said,
but you felt every kid had an opportunity.
Yeah, I said, you did a good job tonight.
Yeah.
I said, now I saw you a couple of years ago, and you were, you had a bad night, and that's okay. You're human. But I really felt like you gave a good, honest effort tonight, and I appreciate that.
Yep.
And I've been doing it long enough, okay, where I can fairly evaluate and judge that. And have worked with baseball umpires and the booking agents for years about trying to, bring that a little closer to the game where there's more consistencies. And that's why when I go to a softball game and I see my niece out there pitching, playing against another community that I know a lot of people in, and I see somebody behind the plate making it all about them instead of about the kids, then I'm going to flip the narrative, and I'm going to, hey, they're going to ask me to leave.
Yep.
Because I'm not going to stop until he starts making about the kids or, changes it, or I'm gone and call the booking agent and tell him. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is the problem with officiating. All right? It's not, well, parents are so mean today. Dude, look, you go back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, they were screaming and hollering and all that. The problem, the difference is the officials back then were not punching the mouth. Now, I'm not saying people should do that, but I'm saying that's the difference. Today we want to get in our feels and, I feel that he didn't. Okay, first of all, nobody cares. All right, number two, you're getting paid to do a job. Now, do your job and understand that you're giving your best effort, all right, that night, and that you may have a bad night, and when you do, you need to wear it.
That's right.
Just like you do on your job, because your ass might get fired for not doing the right thing.
That's right.
Or having a bad night, okay? This whole thing about, well, we can't find umpires. No, what it is we can't find people with intestinal fortitude to be able to go out and do a job that they're paid for without, I can't believe they hollered at me.
Yeah.
Dude, let me tell you something. People have pissed off the Gen Xers, and I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I'm not quiet anymore. I'm tired of the crybaby crap. Okay, show up, do your job. I don't care what it is. All right, this stuff about, well, this kid deserves that. Listen, you deserve only what you earn.
Right.
Okay? And then sometimes you still don't get it.
Yep.
So grow up, put your big boy and girl pants on, and let's go do something.
Yep.
Let's go make the world a better place. Okay? This whole thing, damn, my blood pressure's going through. Okay. The whole thing about this is Cliff Godwin, number one, is right in everything that he said. All right. Do those players, did they do?
And if you haven't seen it, you need to Google it.
He's right. Cliff is right. Okay. I talked to Drew. Drew Reynolds played there. You know, he coaches at Cherville, you know, with his daddy. I see him every night when we go down there. We talked about this for 5 or 7 minutes in the coaching office the other night. Cliff is right. Now, people say, yeah, but those kids can go where they want to go. Yes, they can. You are 100% right. But that doesn't make it right. Just because you have the right to do something or the ability to do something does not make it right.
Yeah.
Now, were those kids getting an opportunity? Yes, because they were pitching. Were they in a good environment? Absolutely. So why are they leaving? They want to go get this. You know what? Go. But it's destroying the following. Now, me as a fan of East Carolina, you know, former player, you know, being in school there, graduate, all this. When I follow them, you know what the question I'm asking is, God, is that kid going to be there next year? That's ridiculous.
But it will
Ridiculous.
it will work itself out because that's the way things work. Because Godwin is going to be more on top of what he's doing as far as what the kids are thinking and trying to find out. And I don't know, I mean, he can't stop what's going on, but he may evaluate a little bit different on the kids he brings in.
Lanny, if you're earning a scholarship, I don't care what sport it is, because now they're talking about, athletes, the NCAA, we're going to make sure you have all your health care paid for, all of your schooling paid for. Who's paying for that? How's the NCAA doing that? They're not. It's the people that go to school there that are paying their money that their parents saved up or that they've taken out loans for themselves that intend to pay back that are paying for all this stuff. Why would you do that? Why? Why would you do that?
There's going to be changes coming.
Why would you?
It doesn't have.
Because I want to get a degree from such and such because that degree is the most important thing in the world. Is it really? Is it?
When I was recruited, that was
maybe so. Maybe
that was
not.
the billing.
I don't know.
The biggest selling point from Duke is you will have a degree from Duke University.
Well,
you know what that's worth? You know what I said? It's not worth a whole lot if I'm interviewing with a guy graduated from Carolina. He ain't gonna care that I got a degree from Duke.
Well,
so you don't play that card.
It's the higher authority gambit.
Yeah,
is what's trying to be played here. Well, my degree is more prestigious than yours. Let me tell you what this is I have no problem with people having opportunity to go do this and do that. But when it's at the expense of others, or at the expense of graduates of 21, 22, and 23, and potentially 24, before all the stuff's worked itself out of the system, I have a problem with that.
Well, you just want the same thing that I want, which is you just want people to be accountable. Yeah. And it's okay to ask them to be accountable. For some reason, we've got to the point that we think you shouldn't have to ask.
Let me give you a
not
little
right
secret.
for you to ask.
If you invest in yourself, all right, and you water your own grass, and the environment's good, and you're getting an opportunity, when the race is finished, things will be much better for you than going and chasing the carrot.
We got to get better at
not
understanding what the prize is and accepting the prize for what it is instead of trying to make it look like something else that it's not.
Marketability is completely different than jumping ship.
That's right, yeah. Have a good weekend. Tuesday?
Yep.
Tuesday. See you Tuesday.